In the 1970s, deep in the heart of Igbo land in Nigeria, there was a village called Ochi. Life was peaceful, filled with the sounds of nature, and the aroma of roasting yams, palm oil, and pepper soup. But Ochi was also full of unforgettable characters who made each day feel like a new chapter in a never-ending tale. Among the most notable villagers were Okonkwo, the strongest man around, Ikemna, his cunning but slightly cowardly friend, Onyema, the village's wise man, and Chioma, a fiery woman who was not afraid to put anyone in their place. One hot afternoon, the village was buzzing with excitement because it was the day of the annual wrestling festival, a time when the men of Ochi tested their strength and endurance. Okonkwo was the reigning champion, known for wrestling down anyone who dared to step into the ring with him. His muscular frame and booming laugh were legendary. He always said, "Any man who can't wrestle with the spirits has no business wrestling with Okonkwo." As the sun began to set, the villagers gathered around the dusty wrestling ring, cheering and chanting as the first match began. Ikemna, who had been secretly avoiding eye contact with Okonkwo, found himself in an unfortunate position. Someone from the crowd shouted, "Ikemna, it's your turn to wrestle Okonkwo." Ikemna's heart sank. Though he was quick-witted, his bravery was not exactly a match for Okonkwo's strength. He quickly scrambled for an excuse. "Ah, my leg is paining me. I think a spirit stepped on it last night," he muttered, hoping the crowd would show him mercy. Okonkwo, who was enjoying the whole scene, laughed heartily and said, "Ikemna, if the spirits have pained your leg, then I'll just wrestle the other one. No problem." The crowd roared with laughter, and before he could wriggle his way out, Ikemna was dragged into the ring. What followed was a humorous spectacle, with Ikemna twisting and turning to avoid being caught, but in the end, Okonkwo lifted him high and spun him around until Ikemna looked like a flailing bird. When he was finally released, Ikemna staggered around, dizzy, declaring that he had almost defeated Okonkwo. Later that evening, the villagers sat around a fire to tell stories. Onyema, the wise man, was asked to speak. He cleared his throat and began, "In the days of our ancestors, there was a man who tried to wrestle with a tortoise." He paused, casting a sly glance at Ikemna. "And like some people here, he also claimed his leg was in pain." The crowd burst into laughter, and Ikemna sighed, knowing that he would never hear the end of it. Just then, Chioma, known for her sharp tongue and wit, spoke up. "All you men with your wrestling and spirits. If only you used the strength to fetch water from the stream instead of pretending to be strong in front of each other." Okonkwo, never one to back down from a challenge, smirked and said, "Chioma, if you think you're so tough, why don't you enter the ring with me?" Chioma didn't hesitate. She rolled up her sleeves and stepped right into the ring, much to the delight of the crowd. Everyone watched in amazement as she dodged, twisted, and even managed to slap Okonkwo on the shoulder while he tried to grab her. Okonkwo was stunned, no one had ever been so quick. After a few minutes, Chioma finally surrendered, but not before the crowd had started chanting her name in admiration. The night ended with drums, dancing, and laughter. Okonkwo, Ikemna, Onyema, and Chioma sat together, sharing palm wine and banter. They joked about Ikemna's bravery, Okonkwo's lost battle with Chioma, and Onyema's endless stories of the old days. Amoko might have been a small village, but with characters like these, life was never dull. And so, the villagers of Ochi went to bed that night with full bellies and fuller hearts, knowing that tomorrow would bring a new day and, inevitably, new stories to tell.